I'm Ace. This is Ace of Spades Studio, and I have Elijah here. We're gonna go through a few questions. First question I got for you is:
fire away.
The last time we met, you were launching an EP with your music. That was some years ago, like 2013. Right.
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago.
Where have you been, and what's been going on in your life since then?
Kind of dropped out of the music scene. Had some family issues. My parents were ill and passed. I had a fiance that passed with leukemia, and I kind of
sorry to hear that.
I kind of had a setback. And sometimes you got to be at your worst time in your life to try to dig yourself out with some type of new identity and some type of idea. And that's when I came up with the clothing line.
Okay. And so I understand you took the flag, the Confederate flag, and started the clothing line with it.
Yeah.
And what in the world gave you that idea? It's dope though, but what's on your mind?
Yeah, I went to Florida summer of 17, and actually for a bad reason. It was my parents' funeral. They passed just 5 days away from each other. And as if I wasn't going down there for a bad enough reason, I seen this Confederate flag all over the west coast of Florida. And I know what it meant, but I never seen it in my face, and it kind of felt like a slap to my face. So I remember jokingly asking the police officer, hey, what does this flag mean that I see on the bumper stickers? They had it on flags on 95, you could see it. And he said to me, it's not what you think, it's a pride thing. And usually when somebody says it's not what you think, it means it is what you think, you know what I mean?
Right.
So then he went on and saying it's a pride thing. And I said to myself, well, you can be Jewish and have Jewish pride, or Irish and have Irish pride, or Italian have Italian pride. But if you have white pride, that's almost like the same as saying anti-black pride, you know what I mean? So I didn't like the vibe that I got from it. It's something when you see it in person. I didn't have the idea to conceptualize it, take it back up north and make a clothing brand out of it. I just, when I came back up north to Philadelphia market, I heard rumors that it was in Delaware and it was getting bigger, and I think probably Trump probably woke up a lot of people that were really prejudiced, and they felt that their president was supporting them, so they got pretty outlandish with it.
Right.
But I'm starting the movement. I want to try to squash this, especially from coming up north where we're at.
Okay, that's dope. And how's the reception been? Like people
good
taking it?
First, it's a little awkward. We had one of the models that was at our model shoot for the website and social media, wore the shirt on social media, and somebody responded, "What's that shit on your shirt?" When she inboxed them what it was all about, what the movement was about, the next inbox was, "Oh, that's dope. I want to rock it. Where can I order that?" Then we had one of the models, without my permission, wore one of my shirts on South Street, and there was a store having a grand opening, and the guy stopped him when he was walking by, and he said, "Can you have the person who owns that clothing company reach me, because I want to have the clothing in my store?"
Okay.
So then I really stepped back and I said, wait a minute, this is going to be an online ordering. We're going to be doing the college tour, DJ, shooting the shirts out into the audience, having a lot of fun. But then I said, wait a minute, this might be, if I'm not in the big stores like the Walmart, the Target and all, at least there's a lot of independent stores that I can have my clothing in, where I can get a startup from.
Right. And I feel like it's coming from you experiencing racism and everything. When was the first time?
The first time I experienced racism? Well, because of my culture, on my mom's side of the family, I have Sicilian and Arab descent. On my dad's side, I'm French and English. And I remember, like, in school, kids will say stuff like prejudice stuff. One of my high schools, the first year was maybe 70% white. And I would hear them say prejudice stuff, and I really didn't know what it meant. Then my latter years in high school, I went to mainly black high school, and there was none of that, because everybody was kind of like one. But I noticed a lot of stuff. My fiance that passed away from leukemia, I remember we were looking for a house to rent. And I looked at a couple houses, and they loved me, and they were like, yeah, you can rent from us. You run your own business. You're a single dad. You're doing what you're doing. But when I went back at nighttime to look at the house to bring her when she was available, I don't know if the owner talked to the neighbors or what, but we got turned down on the house. Didn't happen again. And we finally got somebody to rent to us. A Muslim brother from Turkey rented us his house that I purchased. And it's funny because somebody had to come from another country to rent to two Americans.
Right.
That's to let you know race relations hasn't progressed as far as people may believe it has.
And that's the whole shirt and the movement and everything. Do you feel it's controversial, or are you trying for it to be controversial?
Well, controversy sells, but I don't want to cheapen it with the controversy part. I think Aretha Franklin was quoted by saying, sometimes you have to disturb peace to get peace and wake somebody up. I think it's just a matter of people being educated. I think, maybe the flag probably had its reasons years ago for why they had it during, the war a few hundred years ago. But I think after the Ku Klux Klan adopted this flag, I think back in the 40s, everybody knows what it stands for now. But to answer your question, yeah, I think it's quite controversial. I think Sun Tzu, the warrior, said, in the midst of chaos, there's opportunity. And I was talking to a famous actress on the phone, and not to put her out there, within 5 minutes of talking, she said to me, Elijah, do you think this can go so big that those that wear that negative prejudice rebel flag might stop wearing it? And I said, wow, that's really big. If we can get them to stop wearing it because we're taking the sting out of it. So now say you're Jose and you live around the corner and somebody calls you a spick or a prejudiced word. Jose don't have to go beat that guy up, rough him up, and get locked up. Jose can go throw in a shirt, walk around the corner, and look at him like, it has no sting. It don't affect us. It's our flag now. If you look at the history of how war was, when one side beat the other side, they would take the flag. But it's not like gangster, we took the flag. We're not trying to start no tick for tack. There's a peaceful movement. Our hashtags is showing the world that we're one. Peace wins, taking the flag. Other hashtags like, everything's really supportive with the movement. If there's folks that's on the other side of the Confederate flag and they're racist and prejudiced and they want to come over to our side, they're more than welcome. If you look at some of the rallies in this country where there's a black injustice, you'll notice that there's a lot of angry white folks out there protesting too with the signs too. So not everybody's prejudiced in this country.
And your movement, where do you see it in a year or so from now?
Wow. We got some big things happening. Linked up with Bernard Hopkins, future Hall of Fame boxer, and we're kicking some stuff around. We have the website developed, the social media, we have the college tour, we have the barbershop tour. I have the largest masjid in Philadelphia waiting for me to come there to make the presentation. So with everything in collaboration, along with the clothing stores and the support, I think it's going to go far. I think if I had this idea a decade or two ago, it probably still would have did good. But I think this is a pivotal time with who we have in office and some of the things that's going on in this country. I think it's very pivotal.
Okay.
And in fact, to add to that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. If you look at Germany, it's not legal for Nazi skinheads to wear the swastika after what had happened to the Jews back in the 40s. So they can't voice their opinion on being prejudiced because if you wear a swastika in Germany, it's illegal and you can be arrested. So instead of wearing a swastika, what are they wearing in Germany to let people know they're prejudiced?
What's that?
The Confederate flag.
Really?
Deep, very deep. So I said to myself, if Hitler took the swastika from India, the swastika means peace and luck. So if you know an Indian family, they invite you to the wedding, a swastika, it's going to be on the invitation. So if Hitler can take something that's peaceful and positive and make it negative, I said, I'm going to take this negative flag, rebrand it, reinvent it, and I'm going to take something that's negative and make it positive, so to say. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, it was fun. And, once you have all that movement behind you, how do you plan to give back?
Oh, good question. It's not really a movement unless you give back. And I tell everybody, this is a 60% clothing line. 60% movement, 40% clothing line. We got the dry fit for the folks that work out, dry fit apparel. We have hoodies, we have thermals, we have t-shirts, we have enough for people to purchase, layer it, and make a whole style out of this. But back to the movements, one of them is a middle school initiative. It's hard to go to high schools in this country. You already have kids that set in their ways. You have high school shootings and everything. In elementary school, kids aren't usually biased or prejudiced by then. If you look at pre-K, elementary, you put all different nationality kids in the playground. They're all going to play and get their clothes dirty at the same time. I figured middle school was a pivotal point in these young kids' life to go out there and teach race relations in this country. A couple other initiatives. One is the voter disenfranchisement law, which a lot of people overlook and don't know about. A lot of minorities who've been arrested because of a faulty justice system cannot come home and vote. And there's a law that says no, what's that law? No taxation without representation. So here you go, you're home from prison or jail and you're trying to start your life over again. You shouldn't have to pay taxes if you can't be able to choose who runs your government, voting all the way from the mayor to the senator, all the way up to the president.
Right.
There's two states, Maine and Vermont, which are mainly white states. They don't have voter disenfranchisement laws. In fact, you can be in prison in Maine and Vermont and still be allowed to vote.
Oh, wow.
So tell me that's not used to hold minorities back from voting. And a couple other initiatives. The initiatives will be done, proceeds will be allocated from the funds that we bring in. The more that we make, the more that we can give back.
And what's been pushing you to do all that? What's your drive?
A lot of stuff I see on the news, a lot of stuff I see on the media. People tend to think, wow, what is this surge of police brutality? What is it? You know, there's no surge. It's just the advent of smartphones. I mean, everybody, whether you have Obama phone or phone, everybody has the capability of recording these days. Mm-hmm. It's just now coming to light that those that didn't see it. But you never know how long you're gonna be here in this world. And I said, when my fiance passed, I went through a dark period. And at the same time that I thought I had nothing to live for, a little light bulb went off in my head and said, well, if you have nothing to live for, you have nothing to lose. Do something to make your mark while in this world. If I'm known for being a good father, a good son, or whatever, that's good, so be it. But I like to leave my markings and deserve doing something positive and something to give back. I think people need to be educated on culture, race relations, and it's a big mess now. And I think the mess got worse with Trump in office. Not to get political, there's a lot of mess, and somebody's got to clean it up.
Okay, and with everything that the racist groups have done over the decades, and you do expect it to just go away, like the Confederate flag, and like if they, let's say they picked a new sign or something, what would you do? Like if they moved from the Confederate flag to something else?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess we take that logo too. If they stop rocking the Confederate flag and because they felt it wasn't envious anymore because the people took it, mm-hmm. And they came up with a new, like a new symbol for hatred or whatever, we'll take that too, we'll reinvent it, and we'll make that good also.
Okay.
We're leveling up. That's what we're doing.
I hear you. So at the end of the day, it's a peaceful movement?
Yeah, it's a peaceful movement. It's for everybody that wants to get involved with it. Like I said, if you're on the other side and you used to be down with the racist connotation of the flag, you're more than welcome to come over to us. It's for all people.
That's what's up. I wish you the best.
Thank you, appreciate it. I just ask everybody, support the brand. There's a lot of good meaning to it. There's a great cause with it. We don't have to deal with bias, intimidation anymore in this country or anywhere in the world. So I'd ask you to please support Rebel Movement Clothing Company. A lot more to come. We'll keep you posted. Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.